What? What? Oh, wow, super clean 240. Yeah, it looks so good, except for that. What? That is a crack. That crack does not have a cool story behind it at all. What actually happened was I had a flat because 3-piece wheels never like to hold air. Pulled it out of the garage and I'm driving down the driveway, and the driveway decided to eat my front bumper. Busted it up there. What? And then it pushed the bumper up into the fender and cracked it right there. So now I get to fix it. And it sucks because it's spring, it's car season, everyone's bringing out their nice stuff, and then here I am, my busted Fender 240. I'm actually going to splice it and widen it and make this fender fit better. Every car I've had, the fitment has always been different. That we have one side of our car that fits better than the other, and this side does not fit great. First step, we got to disassemble this car. There she is. She looks like she's cracked pretty good. Yep, but that's okay. It's actually not bad. Alright, so we know what the outside looks like, and the inside actually doesn't look too bad, so it's not hateful. Alright, first tool up the bat is going to be our air saw. This tool is pretty cheap. It don't need to be too expensive, just needs a cut. Alright, so I made my cut. Yeah, probably doesn't look too cool, does it? You guys sick to your stomach yet? We're going to prep the inside first for fiberglass, and I'll show you what we're going to do there. The tool that I just used is a die grinder, and it's got a 24 grit bit on it, just something to really chew down this fiberglass. And what I did with it is I beveled everywhere where it's cracked, or V'd it out, like some people call it a V. And what you want to do is you pretty much want to take the edge down just so it's not such a cut. So whenever you V it out and you lay the fiberglass in there, it actually helps sandwich it together on both sides instead of just having two pieces butt together and then that piece could actually crack. So the more fiberglass that you have in this valley, the stronger the bond you're going to have. So the next step is we're actually going to take our fender and we're going to fit it on the car, line it up the best we can, possibly bolting it on, and try to get an idea of how far we want this thing to come out. We're going to take tape, we're going to put pieces of tape on it to kind of hold it there. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to put our first layer of fiberglass down. Okay, this looks a little hokey, but I actually have like a little shim in here to spread that out, and it gets wider in here. And then what I do is I take tape and I smash tape on top of it just to kind of hold it where it's at. When the fender is lined up with the body line over there, I have a good amount of finger room through here which is what I'm looking for. So here's what the backside looks like. You can see that I have a little bit of gap in there. This isn't perfectly level. That's okay. When I put the fiberglass in there, it's gonna smooth it out a little bit, and then when we flip it over, we're gonna grind down that side, do the same process, but put a different material in there. For the bumper, I'm gonna use a different tool. It's kind of tight to get in there to really, with a die grinder, to really bevel out the area. So this is like one of my favorite tools. I used it in the first video, didn't really explain it much. It's just a belt sander, and you know, this thing spins and it just chews up anything. Chews up metal, chews up, you know, body filler, chews up fiberglass. So it comes in handy a lot, especially with trimming stuff like that in tight areas. Alright, so this is some of the materials we're going to use. This is our fiberglass mat. This is what we put behind, you know, in this area. You know, it looks just like this. It's flexible. This stuff's hard as a rock. When we mix the resin with it, nothing special. This is some plain old school fiberglass resin. This is the hardener or catalyst for it. When you mix these two together, you're going to have this gel, this you know, this resin-like texture, and what you're going to do is you're going to spread it all over in this area, and then you're going to take your fiberglass mat and you're going to lay your fiberglass mat in there, and then you're going to lay some more gel, and then you could possibly lay another layer of fiberglass mat. Usually we'll probably do 3 coats, or 3 coats. We'll probably do 3 layers of fiberglass mat, and then we're going to let it harden. Alright, that is what it looks like when you're done, believe it or not. I only put 2 layers on there because I don't want to build it up too thick in here, just in case, you know, it just adds room for where my tire is going to ride at. I think 2 layers is going to be good enough. I'm going to have a lot of the fiberall built up on the outside of it to hold it pretty good, so we're going to see if we can get away with it with 2 layers. Looked like our gap is like starting to close up on me, so I put this mixing stick in between those 2 points to spread it out, and hopefully it will be right where it's at. Before I do the other backside layer, I'm going to fit it on the fender again just to make sure. And what do you know? We got a flat. Stupid wheels. Alright, it is the next day. I put my car back last night, and just the allergies have been killing me, so I just went to sleep. I had to pass out. It was late, it was like 1 in the morning. Anyways. Okay, here we go. As you can see, this stuff is pretty hard. Flip it over like this. I mean, this thing is sturdy. Like, that is rock solid. Let's see if I can get this off one-handed. This is about what it should look like on the other side too. So as you can see, it's a little low, a little high. You know, 2 different surfaces here. That's fine. We're going to shave all this down. And we're not, and since we have, you know, 2 layers behind it to back it, it's not going to be too thin. When we shave all this down, we're going to put a different product, a different fiberglass product in there. A little unevenness here, that will shave flat. So it looks really good. The only thing I'm going to do is I need to test fit it on the car before we take all these steps and find out that it shifted or something overnight. So let's get this thing set up and test fit it on the car. Alright, well that looked a whole lot better. My ride height still isn't the same. Alright, let's take this thing back off, and we're going to start on the other part of the repair, filling in this area. Alright, so I used a couple tools when I did this. This is just a heavy duty orbital sander. Just got a bigger scratch. They actually measure them with scratch, and this is for like more body work instead of finishing work, for like before you paint. I started using that out, it wasn't really doing the trick, so I stuck the die grind in there, 24 grit, end on it. I started chewing pretty good, and I finished with 80 grit on this sander. And then the tight areas, I use a die grinder and my belt file sander. And let's look what we have. This is kind of what you want it to look like. It needs to be chewed up a little bit better in here, just so my fiberglass I'm sticking on, you know, the fiberglass I'm spreading on sticks a little better. But this is pretty much what I want. Everything, every little crack is beveled out, dished out, beveled out, valleyed, however you want to say it. So when I put this smooth, when I put this fiberglass over here, it's going to fill it, make it nice and level, but it'll be really thick right where I need it to be to help grab both pieces here. And you can see this is leveling out a lot better, and I'll have to dig in here a little bit. So this next product is called Fiberall. This is a really cool product that U-Paul makes, and I swear this is stuff so easy to use, it's so strong. I mean, you could fix anything with it. I feel like it's one of those products that just can do it all. It's got some pretty long fibers for strength. It's like glass, kind of mixed with some kind of resin already, and you add a hardener to it. This is the hardener that comes out, and when you mix the hardener and all together, it hardens up like a rock, and you get that fiberglass durability. Now, is it as strong as fiberglass matte? No, it's not. It's fiberglass matte is probably the strongest, but this is probably the easiest to shape. There you go. Couple tips in my technique here is when you first mix this stuff up, it's very, very thin. It's very workable. So what I do is I just get it in the most important parts first. That's where I valleyed it out. I needed it smashed in there, so I needed it nice and thin so it could really work itself in there. And as it starts thickening up, I started working in tougher areas, like right here, where it would be, if it was really thin, it wouldn't go in there so well, but when it's thick, it fits in there pretty good. Then I come back over, and when it's starting to harden up on me, I start smashing it in here. So this stuff's already hard as a rock, and I've probably been spreading for like 2 or 3 minutes. So within 5 minutes, this stuff is kicking. The temperature right now is, in my shop, is about 70 degrees. So as you can tell, this is a fast product. So this is about the best time I'm going to sand it too. I like sanding it when it's kind of rubbery feeling. it comes off a little better, it doesn't fight you as much. So let's get this in. Just need to apply some body filler next. The body filler that I'm using isn't anything special. It's just some normal automotive body filler. You can get it at any store. It's a little bit of a heavy duty body filler to help fill in a lot of these holes. But let's get that on there now. Alright, there we go. That's what that skim coat looks like. All this is what we call a skim coat or metal glaze. It's just a thinner coat of filler for finishing. You should be able to get a smoother finish, in preparation for priming. So we'll be blocking this down with 80 at first also, and then finishing it up with 180. Alrighty. You can see this thing is pretty sturdy, hard as a rock. I can literally grab it in the repaired area. Remember, there was like 3 pieces here. Flex it. So that's pretty good. That is a pretty stiff repair. So it's nice and smooth. My body lines look pretty good. Can't wait to stick some primer on this bad boy. So the same thing, the same steps apply to the bumper. I'm just going to time lapse through the entire bumper. Usually I would do it all at the same time, but I just wanted to focus on the fender. As you see, this is what we have to repair, and this is kind of what it looks like. Real nice and sturdy. This is a little support I did to hold the bumper together. I noticed that the bumper was so flimsy that it was separating itself. Looks like I got some stress cracks in the paint. That's no problem. Same rules apply. Dig out the areas, apply my fiberall, then regular body filler and metal glaze, and get ready for prime. finally. This is the process I've been doing for years, and it's worked great for me. Haven't had any issues. Next week I'm going to be doing the same process I've been doing for years for paint. So if you want to see that process, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next week.